Hi, Jesper. Great to see you.
Hi, Kona. Good to see you too. Nice to see you.
It's been a long time. We have known each other for many, many, many years, and I'm so delighted to hear your journey today, and I'm sure our listeners are going to love it. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I guess going back to where we met maybe. So I think we did training with you back in 2016, me and my wife. And at that time, we were both coming out of engineering jobs, sort of consultancies, working all over the US, and now in planning for our next similar development.
Another bank. You like your bank?
I love a bank, yeah.
Well, we've just been talking about banks in a different sense. We'll come round to that. So that very first development then, HSBC Bank, did you know what you were going to do with it before you bought it? What was the plan?
Yeah, so we had a pretty good idea. So in the city center where we are investing in the Northeast, there's been a lot of student pod developments.
Okay.
And we wanted to do something different. The council were kind of getting fed up with those kind of development. They introduced the minimum spacing policies.
Yep.
So we thought, well, we want to develop something for the long term. So it's sort of future proof. So although it might be students at the moment, it's normal apartments.
Okay.
So we went down that route. We could have made a lot more small studios in there.
Okay.
But we decided to go down the sort of more traditional apartment route.
Okay, so give us a little bit about how much do you buy a bank for? How much was that first one for you? I mean, how much does a bank cost?
Yeah, so we got it for just under 400,000.
Wow.
And it's probably 18,000 square feet.
Wow.
So very cheap. It had been marketed for a while for about 650.
Okay.
It hadn't sold. It had been empty for 12 years, as I mentioned, and it was getting in a pretty poor state. It had squatters lighting fires, and it needed to be done. So, but in that sort of 12-year period of it being empty, the market had changed a bit in the city center. So prices had started coming up. So it started to make sense to develop it. I guess that was always the problem. The back-end values weren't there.
Okay.
So yeah, we.
And was it listed?
Yeah. It's in England, so it's grade 2 listed.
Grade 2 listed. Yeah. And how many apartments were you going to get out of that?
So initially, so before we go in with the easy planning first, we went in for the upper floor. So it has 4 stories, and we got 15 apartments initially.
Okay.
And then we started to market the old banking hall, and there's like a little side shop in the building as well. We spoke to all the big retailers. We got some email communication, and we had it listed sort of on the market for a year. Okay. And then after that, we said, well, let's go back into planning and see what we can do there. And in the meantime, I think in 21 there were some planning policy changes in England.
Yeah.
That meant that they wanted to bring back housing in the city centers and allowing the high street to be a mix.
Yeah.
So we went in with planning. So as long as we kept the front door to the high street retail, they were happy with us doing whatever we wanted behind there.
Awesome.
So we got 4 more apartments.
4 more. So that's you up to 19.
And still two small commercial units in there as well.
Great. What challenges did that pose for you? You've just literally secured this massive big bank. You've got get planning and all of that lovely stuff. How did you finance the purchase?
Yeah, so because of the nature of the building being listed and the whole facade was covered in tarpaulin, we had done a lot of surveys up front.
Okay.
We spent a lot of money doing surveys, and we had bridging finance lined up.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have planning, so we couldn't go straight on to our development finance.
Yeah.
So that was all lined up, and literally the week before, I think there was a bit of turmoil probably before the lockdowns with the lending market.
Yeah.
So a week before we were meant to complete, they dropped our loan to value on the bridge from 75% to 49, I think, which
Wow.
meant another 100,000 I had to find.
Okay.
So we managed to scrape that together.
Behind the sofa?
And we completed on it and went straight into planning.
Okay.
But planners then went on in hiding,
Yeah.
basically. So, and our development finance was pulled that we had lined up. The guy that we've been dealing with this specialist bank was made redundant. They were just shutting down completely. We just stuck to it. We still believed in the project.
Yeah, of course.
And council started coming back. They wouldn't go to site, but they would ask for a lot of surveys.
Okay.
So we had a lot of surveys done. Again, a lot of cash up front. Then sort of over the summer of 2020, the guy we had dealt with from the bank before had got a new job.
Okay.
And he sort of got in with the next lender that we then ended up getting our development finance with.
Oh, great.
So, but we didn't get planning till late 2020, which is still pretty fast for a listed building. And we started early 2021 with development.
Wow. It's not for the faint-hearted, is it?
Oh, no. So it definitely, I mentioned it to you before, it's just, you have to just get on with it, even when it's going against you. You just have to solve the problems.
So the development finance is quite fortuitous. One guy gets made redundant, but he still likes the project. He goes in with another bank and then he wants to lend on it. That's really shows the power behind the people. Yeah,
so he's really good guy, and got us a really good deal. Compared to now, I think our development finance was sitting around the 7% mark.
How much?
The 7%.
Oh, I'd love for that.
No, we can't even. I think our exit finance was probably more than that. So.
Yeah. Wow.
But different times in the short. A lot of changed in a short period of time.
Yes. So the build started early 2021.
Yeah.
It was still kind of lockdowny-ish then, wasn't it? Like contractors causing you challenges. How long was the build meant to take?
Well, we had planned about 15 months.
Okay.
So a month per apartment, roughly.
Okay.
And we pretty much stuck to that. So we got 19 apartments and we did it in just about 19 months.
Okay. Nice.
It's just a very big building. We wanted to not only develop good-sized apartments, we also wanted to make it sort of future-proof in terms of energy use.
Okay.
Because we planned to hold it for a long time.
Yep.
We did at that time. We didn't know how the energy prices were going to go, crazy as well. But it has sort of paid off to have that extra pain, I guess.
Good.
So we installed heat pumps and tried to sort of put in modern systems in an old building.
Amazing. How many times do you think you visited that site in the 19 months?
Too many times. So typically in the beginning, it was probably once a month.
Okay.
So we have a really good team. We hire a local project manager, and we run the development through our own construction company.
Okay.
So that means we have a really good core team, and he would bring in subcontractors, and he would look after everything.
Good.
But towards the end, there was a lot of things that had to come into place. So I was down helping out.
Yeah. That's okay. So talk me through the strategy for going into, you've done the development finance, it's finished, then you're moving on to what type of finance after that?
Yeah, so the lender we went with also have the back-end finance products. And there was some incentives for them to keep the business and they sort of work out the deal. Okay. When you take the development finance, you have a path through to your exit. We were going through it. We had our offer through. Everything would look good. A brilliant valuation that we sort of had hoped for. But the market had been good the last few years.
So what valuation did you get?
Just around 2.5 million.
Nice. So really awesome. What did it cost? Let's forget fees and all of that because we don't want to even talk about that. But bill-wise, roughly?
The bill was about $1 million.
Okay. So 1.5-ish, and then it's worth 2.5. Lovely.
Yeah.
Good. So the lending, it's all there.
Yeah. But again, the commercial element kind of sits in the way a little bit for the exit.
Yeah.
So they basically pull the existing finance, but come up with a structure for the residential only.
Okay.
And we get a new offer through. We kind of saved a little bit so the stress testing go through the roof in sort of tail end of last year.
Yeah.
But our yields are really good in this area.
Okay.
And that sort of gives us an exit, but it means releasing less funds, basically.
Yeah.
Which is so we have money tied up in the project for the next 3 years.
So that refinance process, the bank being pulling the money, I feel your pain. I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were going to roll that money into what? What was that money going to be released to do?
Yeah, so during since last summer, we thought, well, we either take a break, or and that was kind of the plan for a little bit, and just sort of we are adding quite a big chunk to our portfolio, so admin sort of goes exponential as well. Yeah. So we wanted to keep up with that, but then I was speaking to some friends, and they were saying, well, they were out looking, and things just take a long time for the big developments. We kind of like doing the big developments. So just that week I was having those thoughts, this next project comes on the market. And we thought, well, let's go for it and see. And we met with the vendor, really lovely lady that was selling it, and we agreed to buy it. But this time, not unconditionally, so subject to planning.
Okay.
The building is still in use. They just wanted to have an exit plan over the next year or so at the time. So,
what is the building? What is it? Tell us.
Yes. So it's another bank building. It's a lot small. It's still big but smaller.
Okay.
So I think we're getting 14 one-bedroom apartments in this one.
Okay. Nice.
So an old Westminster bank that is now a solicitor's office.
Okay.
But yeah, it has been modernized a little bit, maybe 25 years ago, but everything needs to come out and a full sort of insulation and development again. So
the first one's not put you off, huh?
Not quite. I like these projects. They always say stay away from listed buildings, but there's some benefits as well. We have less competition, less of the big developers they're not interested in these sort of small projects.
Yeah.
It's slightly too big for most investors.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nice niche to be in, I think. And
So you've got that offer. It's subject to planning. So is that in planning at the moment? It's going through that process?
Yeah, so they accepted it in principle. So now we're just going through the process of the surveys that they want for that.
Yeah, more surveys.
Less than before, but still, they want this noise assessments and so on. So
yes, of course. Wow.
So
what advice? So there's going to be people listening to this thinking, "Bloomin' heck, this bloke went from buy-to-lets to HMOs to buying banks to build 19 apartments." That does seem like quite a big jump. Mm-hmm. What was it, do you think, that gave you the confidence to pull that off, to go for that?
Definitely having a good foundation with your training and not starting too big.
Yeah.
Just get used to the process.
Yeah.
And then when we took the first, so HMOs were a big step for us at the time, and at that time we had our mentorship.
Yeah.
And that was again just it pushes you forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you do things for a while and you get comfortable with it, and and then it always feels like it's the sort of next. We always went with things that sort of that we were interested in doing, rather than we didn't really follow. It was not always about following the money. You get to a stage where it's not always just about following the next new popular thing to do, but it's also sort of, it has to fit with your long-term goals, what you want from it. So we never done service accommodation. We always felt that was like hard work.
Yeah.
After you do it, we always felt that we do the work and then we hand it over to our managing agents and deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's but definitely having that support team, have a network of people and the training side of things. It's you propel forward a lot faster and make less mistakes.
So what do the next 5 years look for you and the family? Have you got a 5-year vision of where this is going, or are you just going to keep buying banks?
Yeah, hopefully there'll be enough banks available. No, we have been, really what we're also working on is sort of I guess as you grow, you get more, even though you have agents in place, you have more and more management.
Yeah.
So we've been building the team around sort of the operation a bit over the last few years and spent a lot of time on systems. Okay. And I think what we sort of got to the stage now where it's time to build this. So we have our construction company, but really build maybe the companies around our business to support it.
Okay.
So we have less involvement with everything.
Yes.
If that's possible, I don't know.
Yeah, we talk about passive income, don't we?
Yes.
Actually, admin, yeah, can sometimes get a bit out of control.
We have been thinking about doing new build development, buying land, but haven't really got to it yet. So, yeah. So we've looked at a few opportunities, haven't been successful with our bidding.
Okay.
And that was even in Scotland, so trying to do a bit closer to home.
Well, listen, this has been fascinating to hear how it's gone. And look, I think it's good that we all share the challenges that we faced. You've done a big development like that, your very first one, through an unprecedented period of time where, banks get very nervous and planning departments disappear and work from home or not working from home. So you've done incredibly well. It's been a joy to watch it. So if people want to get in touch with you, you're on social medias.
Yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook. Instagram, I guess.
Look, you're part of our community, part of our network, so people can reach out to you on our Facebook group as well. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to hear what happens with this next bank.
No, thank you. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Thank you.